Welcome back, everyone. It's John, Wade Boggs fan. Hope everyone has had a good weekend. It's Sunday evening. I get it. There are a lot of you out there who are, over the last, year plus, have felt frustrated within the hobby. Something that you normally just enjoy doing, and because of the craziness of prices and product availability and so on, you're feeling frustrated. I've seen it in specific videos that you've put out. Um, I've seen it in comments within a video that you do about stating some of your frustrations, and this goes to people who, no matter what sport you collect, whether you collect vintage or modern, whether you're a player collector or team collector, um, whether you collect graded raw cards, you name it, it has encompassed all aspects of the hobby. So what I wanted to do in this video is to highlight the good things about the hobby, give a positive take during this whole current crazy time that we're experiencing, and look to the positives. Right? I was inspired to do this video by a video I watched a couple days ago by TJ Mack Vintage Cards, Terry. He's a fairly new channel, and what he has been doing is showing off, doing showcases of, I think it's his top 30 cards. He's built up an amazing vintage collection, and which is right down my alley. There aren't too many other Wade Boggs super collectors putting out videos, so I really enjoy channels that have a focus on vintage, and Terry's channel is one of them. He's fairly new, but um, as I mentioned, he has put together a vintage collection of various years, and so he's been doing little showcases, both baseball, I think basketball and hockey, maybe even football, all different sports, of his top 30 cards of a particular year and set. And he did a recent video of all the 70s, so there were about 300, so his top 30 for 10 years, so there's like 300. And he picked out his top 10 out of those 300. And it was a really good top 10 list. And I made a comment on his video saying that if you asked 100 collectors what their top 10 would be out of those 300 cards, you could very well get 100 different answers if you had to pick out of 300. Now, you'd get some overlaps, of course. There are certain cards that would fall on most people's top 10 list. But I would venture to say that there could very well be 100 different lists, that there wouldn't be similar lists. Now, again, there could be, but my point is, it got me thinking that everyone has their own collections, their own interests, their own favorite players, their own favorite cards. And that's pretty cool. Within this hobby, there are so many avenues to collect and enjoy sports cards, no matter what sport you enjoy collecting or whether you enjoy multiple sports. I focus on baseball, but others focus on basketball, hockey, football, you name it, wrestling. It I don't know. I thought that was a really good thing, that all of us out there, while we have a common connection in this hobby, there are so many ways that you can enjoy it, even within this crazy time period that we're in. And again, with all the different ways to collect, yes, some of us may have had to refocus what we would like to collect. Now, again, this is a hobby for most of us. This is not our job in terms of flipping and making a living. We don't make a living off of sports cards. Again, the vast majority of us. This is a hobby. This is a side thing for us to, yeah, it's sometimes an expensive hobby, but it's something that at the base core of it is meant to enjoy. And while this current environment may force you, depending on what you collect, to adjust what you collect, there are still ways, and I still see it in videos that I watch, where while there is some frustration that people are still, getting cards, adding to their collections and so on, that they're still finding some enjoyment in it. And I'm the same way. I mean, I did a rant video on my frustration with vintage cards and the prices and so on. We've all been there. But like myself, I'm still getting cards. There's, whether you're talking about the hobby or anything in life, there's wants, there's needs. Are there, when it comes to sports cards, is there really a need for a particular card? There are a lot of wants out there, and just like everything in life, you can't always get what you want. And you have to find peace with that and appreciate what you have, because some of us already have some amazing collections, just awe-inspiring collections that some of you have put decades into, like myself. Some of you are new to the hobby, which is great. We always like new people entering into the hobby, and it brings new ideas, new thoughts, you name it. We need those new people coming into the hobby. One thing in particular, and again, I'm bringing this to my point of view in terms of being interested in vintage. Let's say you like vintage players, older players, retired players, Hall of Famers, okay? And you're getting frustrated by, I really like Hank Aaron. He was, growing up, I always idolized him. I read about him. Maybe I didn't watch him play. And you want to collect his cards. And maybe based on your budget, you can't afford some of his playing day cards. Or again, maybe the cards that you want are unattainable, say at a certain grade or whatever. It may please you to no end to just own a playing day card, regardless of the condition. And a lot of you I know out there are like that. They're not worried about getting a graded copy. They'll take a beat up raw copy of you name the card, okay? Let's say Hank Aaron card. Just the fact that you own a playing day card of Hank Aaron, and you don't care what the condition is, whether you're not thinking investment, you're whatever, there are cards out there to be had. But another way that you could collect Hank Aaron, if you like him as a player, there are a lot of modern cards that have been made of Hall of Famers. Topps is coming out with, they've come out with short print variations in their latest products. There's SP Legendary Cuts, Upper Deck Hall of Fame from '05. I'm just a couple sets just pop into my head. There are modern sets out there that have veteran players. You can make that a focus. Again, it's not playing day, and again, you can watch all these videos of people's collections that they have, playing day career cards of, again, for example, Hank Aaron. But if your budget doesn't allow that, but you still want to collect Hank Aaron, maybe you can start a modern Hank Aaron collection. I'm sure there are hundreds of cards out there. You got all these parallels and even some game used. Maybe owning a card with a piece of Hank Aaron game used bat could be a prize piece in your collection. So look at it from a broad standpoint. If you like graded cards, if you like raw cards, there's always something out there. And again, it may involve changing what you've been currently doing. And maybe it's something that in this time period right now, you pivot a little bit. Maybe not completely change your direction, but for example, I think I mentioned in a video or two ago, I may be thinking of wanting to do sort of a player run with Corey Strumsky. I picked up a 1981 Fleer card of his in a PSA grade. And I don't know, maybe I would want to find, some of the more modern cards. I have some in my collection I've gotten in packs and stuff like that that feature Corey Strumsky. If I feel priced out of some of his playing day cards, I may decide, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll pick up if I'm able to go to shows. I don't have too many shows around me, but let's just say we have the National this year. I may make it a point to look through dollar boxes, 50-cent boxes, you name it. And if I come across some Corey Strumsky cards, I may pick them up. I don't know. It'll add to my little, PC. I'm not really going strong with Corey Strumsky, because I'm mainly focused on Wade Boggs. But that's an example of, maybe a temporary pivot that you can do. And if you're new to collecting, maybe that's the way to start off. And then if you have an opportunity to pick up a playing day card of your favorite player, that's great. I've experienced this myself, but I've also seen it in other videos where collectors are feeling that a certain card that they would like to have is out of their reach. I've felt the same way as well. And if there's a particular card that you absolutely say, one day I'm going to have this card as part of my collection, no matter what card it is, one day I want to get one of these cards. I don't care about the grade, this, whatever. I want to own a fill in the blank. And right now you look at prices, you can go, I can't afford that right now. And maybe you can't. But maybe you sock away a few bucks every month. Over a year, over 2 years, over 3 years, over 4 years. Start putting that aside. Just like you would do for anything in life. If there's something that you want, you can't afford right now, you start saving up money. Now again, it's a long potentially long outlook, all right, it's not that immediate satisfaction, which a lot of us, again, admittedly need. Um, but you start setting aside, and before you know it, you may have a couple $100. You may have a couple $1,000 after a couple years, depending on how much you set aside. And maybe at some point in the future, prices get depressed a little, go down a little bit, and maybe at some point you can afford that card, that one card that you absolutely want in your collection. So don't necessarily look at it as a short-term thing. There are some cards that, yeah, I would love to own. Okay, and I'm sure there's ones out there that you would love to have part of your collection. And I if I had $10,000 just to blow, yeah, I may be able to pick up a couple of them, a few of them. Okay, but I don't. So it's the same thing I've done for the National. When I knew that I was going to go to the National this year, and I'm still crossing my fingers, things seem to be maybe going in the right direction, that there will be a National this year. Starting last year, I started socking away a little bit per pay. Nothing huge, but it's going to be something where I'm going to have a decent, in my eyes, decent amount of money to hopefully buy some pretty cool cards. But I've saved up for it. And if, heaven forbid, there's no National this year, I'll keep saving away and just build up a bigger pot for the next National that I'll be able to go to. And maybe then I will be able to afford maybe one or two of the cards that I would love to have in my collection. The other positive thing that I see, and I see it every day, I'm doing it right now, is I'm being a part of this great card community by putting out content, by watching other people's videos. That is a great part of this hobby. Forget about prices for a second. Forget about you can't find retail at Walmart or Target. Forget about boxes of 2021 Top Series 1 are way overpriced. Forget that for a moment. Think about what you do on a daily, weekly basis. For those of you that are creating content, you're showing off the stuff you got. You're showing off pieces of your collection. You're watching videos of others that are doing the same thing. And I can tell by the comments that people leave on my videos and the comments that I leave on their videos that all that stuff's really cool. I mean, it's cool for me, it's cool to see other people's collections. Do I get a little jealous sometimes? Yeah. Oh man, I wish I had that card. I wish I had that. And again, that could easily lead down the path of frustration. I look at it as, man, some people are showing off some awesome cards. And I feel great for them that they have those cards. And you can tell when they show them off, and hopefully you can tell when I show my cards off, on how excited I am to have these cards and this memorabilia that I have. So that's something good in this hobby. And as a result of the card community, I've seen videos where trades have gone on. Someone's reached out to someone else, hey, I need this, and hey, I have that, and they open up a package and they said, yeah, so-and-so reached out to me, they knew I needed this, and I had this one card that they had, and we did this trade. That's great. Care packages. There are so many generous people in this card community that through direct reach out, through surprises, through contests, you name it, other people are helping others build their collection. Knowledge. There are some incredibly knowledgeable people out there that have been in this hobby for a long period of time, that just either know about certain cards, certain players, just other thoughts about the hobby that are inspiring, informative, great to listen to. You can always, I think, Eric, those back pages, it's like, was it always learn something? I may have not gotten the exact phrase correct, but I know a lot more about the hobby today than I did 30 years ago when I started off. And so many things have changed with the hobby over the last 30 years. And that knowledge is what makes the hobby even more enjoyable. And support. All of us out there have, if we put out a rant video or this or whatever, it's always, yep, no, I understand, I feel the same way, or this or that. And just getting together, whether it's through email, through text, through phone calls, through live streams, getting together, through, now not so much over the last year, meeting up at card shows, which is one of the reasons why I'm really, really hoping for the National this year, because if it's on, I'm going. And just to meet and talk with people within the hobby, and just to tell stories, and you name it. That's what this is all about. It's not about the frustration, which, yes, again, is out there. But if anything, the frustration shows just how passionate we are within this hobby. Because if you're part of a hobby and you see something happening and you don't feel anything, good, bad about it, how enjoyable is the hobby for you? I'm talking about any hobby. But in this particular case of sports cards, the fact that so many of us have felt that frustration over the last year or so, I think is a testament to just how passionate we are about this hobby, which is good. You want that passion, for the most part, brings enjoyment. So again, that's a good thing. To feel frustrated is a byproduct of the fact that you're passionate about your collection. So take some positive out of that. And finally, I know this is going on fairly long here, but there's one phrase that I love hearing it when I'm watching videos, and it may be not exactly this phrase, but something like this. Whenever someone shows off a card and they say, I never thought that I would own fill in the blank until today. Now, I'm not talking about a big boy card. I'm not talking, there's no specific. It could be some hard to find but not expensive card of a player that you collect, or that one last card that you needed to complete a set. You name it. There are so many people putting out videos there of hey, I finally managed to pick up this one card, and I never thought I would own one. I always wanted to own one, or I couldn't find this or whatever, and now I finally have this card in my collection. I love watching those videos, because you can tell the way they show it off, the way they describe the card. It's not just, hey, look at this, hey, that's great, and I'm just going to put it in a box. But it's those cards, and again, it doesn't have to be a highly valuable rare card or something like that. It can be, but to them, to that collector, that is a great card that they just picked up for their collection. And I love to see that. And I don't think this current, where things are in the market, I still see those videos. People are still able to get cards that that excite them, that they're proud to show off. And while you may not be showing off cards that you would like to show off because of prices or whatever, you're still picking up things. You're still finding ways to enjoy the hobby. So again, wrapping this part up of the video, yeah, there's some frustrations out there, but do what you can to pause, just think about your hobby, think about the hobby in general, other collectors out there, and think about all the positives that this hobby brings to you and to others. So with that, I want to highlight, do a shout out to two channels. And the first one, of course, is TJ Mac Vintage Cards. And now, Terry, he's only been doing YouTubes for just a few months now. Late November of last year is when he started. Has under 100 subscribers. But if you check out, and I'm going to put a link to his channel in the description of this video. Like I said, if you're into vintage, and it's not just baseball, it's multi-sport, he has an amazing collection that he has built up over the years, and now he's started doing videos on YouTube showing off his vintage cards. And like I said, it is extremely impressive, the collection that he has put together. And I want to do a shout out to a second video, or second channel. And the second channel that I want to show off is GW573 Greg. Now, Greg's another newer YouTuber. Well, he's been on for a little over 2 years, but in terms of making videos, he's only been really making videos over the last 3 months or so. But again, he's more into baseball, vintage, but some modern players as well. He's shown off several different PCs of different players, and he's been recently doing a set of short videos where he's taking a look at and is encouraging others to comment on, if you could only keep 25 of your cards in your entire collection, what 25 of those cards would they be? And so in each little video, he's been showing off one card that, if he had to get rid of all his other cards, of these 25, these would be the ones that he would want to keep in his collection. And while I haven't responded with my list, I don't know how I would nail it down to 25, and maybe a lot of you would feel the same way. Again, it's neat to think about, of what some of your favorite cards are that you have in your collection, again, regardless of value, that would be the last, say, 25 that you would part with if you had to. So those are two great channels that I've enjoyed watching. They support my channel and comment on my videos as well. So again, I'm going to put links to their channels in the description of this video. Check them out, guys, especially if you are into vintage. Really good content and some amazing cards. So definitely check them out. Get both of them over 100 subscribers. So I'm going to wrap up this video now with trivia, as I normally do. And most of you got the answer to the trivia question from my last video. The question that I posed was, Trevor Bauer will look to repeat as the National League Cy Young Award winner with a new team. Only one pitcher in history has ever won back-to-back Cy Youngs with different teams. Who is he? One good guess was Tom Seaver, because he went from the Mets to the Reds, and right around those times he was winning Cy Youngs. It wasn't Tom Seaver. Most of you did, though, get it correct. And the correct answer is Greg Maddux. He won the Cy Young Award in 1992 with the Cubs and followed it up in 1993 playing for the Braves. So there you have it. Like I said, most of you got that. I thought most of you would have gotten the answer correct as well. So I have been flipping back and forth between a trivia question and a baseball quote. I decided to do another trivia question again, just to, again, mix things up. The new trivia question, which of course I will have the answer for you in my next video. The new question is, the 1999 Hall of Fame class featured 3 first ballot inductees, the most since the inaugural class of 1936. Who were they? So 3 great baseball players got inducted in 1999, all first ballot. And I didn't realize that was the most first ballot inductees since 1936. I know there have been some years where more than 3 have been inducted, but I think some of them have been through Veteran Committee, other different committees, plus maybe players that have gone past their first year of eligibility to make it. But 1999 was, I guess, the most since 1936. So let me know who you think those 3 players are. I'll let you know in my next video. That's all I have for you. Again, keep positive out there. I know it's tough sometimes, even for me, but this is a great hobby. It'll continue to be a great hobby, and I look forward to many, many more years of collecting and interacting with all of you great people out there. So that's all I have. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.